My friends, I want to share with you today one of the most profound truths I've discovered in my years of studying human behavior and success. It's a truth that can transform your life if you'll let it, but it's also a truth that most people refuse to accept. You see, there's an enemy lurking in your life right now. This enemy is more dangerous than any external force you'll ever face. It's more destructive than economic downturns, more limiting than lack of education, and more devastating than any setback you might encounter. This enemy has killed more dreams, destroyed more potential, and wasted more talent than all the world's tragedies combined. And here's the shocking part. This enemy lives inside you. In fact, this enemy is you. Today, we're going to talk about how you might be killing your own future without even realizing it. More importantly, we're going to discover how to stop this self-sabotage and start building the extraordinary life you deserve. I've spent decades studying successful people, and I can tell you this with absolute certainty. The difference between those who achieve greatness and those who live lives of quiet desperation isn't talent, luck, or circumstances. It's simply this: successful people have learned to get out of their own way. So let me ask you a question that might sting a little. Are you your own worst enemy? Are you the one standing between yourself and the life you've always dreamed of? If you're honest with yourself, and I know you will be, the answer might surprise you. Let me tell you about a man I met several years ago. We'll call him Robert. Robert was brilliant, educated, and full of ambition. He had every advantage you could imagine. Yet year after year, he remained stuck in the same mediocre job, trapped in the same unfulfilling routine. When I asked Robert what was holding him back, he had a list of excuses longer than a grocery receipt. His boss didn't appreciate him. The economy was bad. He didn't have the right connections. The competition was too fierce. Sound familiar? But here's what Robert couldn't see, and what most people refuse to acknowledge. He was his own biggest obstacle. Every time an opportunity presented itself, Robert found a reason why it wouldn't work. Every time success beckoned, he discovered a flaw in the plan. He had become a master at protecting himself from failure by never truly trying. This is what I call the silent saboteur, that voice in your head that masquerades as wisdom, but is actually fear dressed up in respectable clothing. It whispers things like, be realistic, don't get your hopes up, and you're not ready yet. The silent saboteur is cunning because it doesn't sound like an enemy. It sounds like a friend looking out for you. It speaks in the voice of reason, caution, and practicality. But make no mistake about it, this voice has killed more dreams than failure ever could. You see, failure is actually your friend. Failure teaches you, strengthens you, and shows you what doesn't work so you can find what does. But the silent saboteur prevents you from even reaching the point where failure can teach you anything. It keeps you safe, comfortable, and utterly unfulfilled. I want you to think about this for a moment. How many times have you talked yourself out of taking a chance? How many opportunities have you dismissed before you even gave them serious consideration? How many dreams have you buried under a mountain of what ifs and yes buts? The tragedy isn't that you might fail if you try. The tragedy is that you've already failed by not trying. Now, let me share with you one of the most dangerous places on earth. It's not a war zone. It's not a natural disaster area, and it's not some exotic location filled with wild animals. The most dangerous place on earth is your comfort zone. Why is it so dangerous? Because it kills you slowly, silently, and so comfortably that you don't even realize you're dying. Your comfort zone is where dreams go to die a peaceful death. I remember speaking with a woman named Sarah who had worked the same job for 15 years. She complained constantly about being bored, underpaid, and unappreciated. When I suggested she look for something better, she immediately rattled off a dozen reasons why she couldn't leave. I know this job, she said. I know what to expect. Sure, it's not perfect, but at least it's secure. Security. That's the great illusion of the comfort zone. You think you're playing it safe, but you're actually taking the biggest risk of all, the risk of wasting your life. You see, there's no such thing as security in standing still. The world doesn't stand still for you. While you're sitting in your comfort zone, convinced you're being prudent, life is passing you by. Opportunities are flowing past you like a river, and you're standing on the shore too afraid to get your feet wet. Here's a truth that might shock you. Your comfort zone isn't even that comfortable. If it were truly comfortable, you wouldn't be watching this video. You wouldn't be searching for ways to improve your life. Deep down, you know you're settling for less than you deserve. The most successful people I've known have this in common. They've learned to be comfortable being uncomfortable. They understand that growth happens at the edges of your comfort zone, not in the center of it. Think about a muscle. When does a muscle grow? Not when you're sitting on the couch, comfortable and relaxed. A muscle grows when you push it beyond what it's used to, when you make it work harder than it worked yesterday. Your life operates on the same principle. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you're choosing to stay weak. Every time you avoid a challenge because it might be difficult, you're ensuring that you'll remain exactly where you are. But here's the beautiful thing about stepping out of your comfort zone. It expands. What seems scary and impossible today becomes normal and achievable tomorrow. The person you become by facing your fears is always stronger than the person you were when you were running from them. Let me tell you about one of the most elegant and sophisticated ways people sabotage their own success. It's called perfectionism, and it's probably the most socially acceptable form of self-destruction ever invented. Perfectionism sounds so noble, doesn't it? I just want to do things right. I don't want to put out anything that isn't my best work. I'm not ready yet. I need to learn more first. But here's what perfectionism really is. It's fear wearing a tuxedo. It's procrastination in a three-piece suit. It's the art of making inaction look like virtue. I once knew a writer who spent 3 years perfecting the first chapter of his novel. 3 years. He rewrote it dozens of times, researched every detail, and crafted every sentence until it gleamed like a diamond. But you know what? In those 3 years, he could have written 3 complete novels. And yes, they might not have been perfect, but they would have existed. They would have been out in the world, touching lives and making a difference. Perfectionism is the enemy of progress. While you're polishing and perfecting and preparing, life is moving on without you. Opportunities are being seized by people who are willing to be good enough today rather than perfect someday. Here's a secret that the most successful people know. Perfectionism is an impossible standard. There is no such thing as perfect. Even the greatest achievements in human history could have been improved somehow. The Mona Lisa could have had a different expression. Shakespeare could have chosen different words. The iPhone could have had more features. But these creators understood something crucial. Done is better than perfect. Good enough released is better than perfect in your head. Impact made today trumps perfection promised tomorrow. The perfectionist's creed is, I'll do it when I'm ready. But here's the truth. You'll never feel ready. Readiness isn't a feeling, it's a decision. You become ready by starting, not by waiting. I want you to consider this. What would you attempt if you knew you didn't have to do it perfectly? What dreams would you pursue if good enough was acceptable? What risks would you take if you gave yourself permission to be human? The perfectionism prison has bars made of impossible standards and locks forged from the fear of criticism. But here's the key to escape. Give yourself permission to be imperfect. Give yourself permission to learn as you go. Give yourself permission to be a beginner. Remember this, every expert was once a beginner. Every master was once a disaster. Every success story started with someone willing to be imperfect in public. There's another way you might be killing your future, and it's so common that we've made it into a cultural pastime. It's called comparison, and it's the thief of joy, the killer of motivation, and the destroyer of dreams. In our connected world, we have access to everyone else's highlight reel. We see their successes, their achievements, their perfect moments captured in perfect lighting. And then we compare those moments to our behind-the-scenes reality, complete with all its struggles, doubts, and imperfections. This is like comparing your rough draft to someone else's published book. It's not fair, it's not accurate, and it's not helpful. I remember meeting a young entrepreneur who was paralyzed by comparison. She had a brilliant business idea, but every time she started to move forward, she'd discover someone else who was already successful in a similar field. They're so much further ahead, she'd say. They have more experience, more money, more connections. How can I compete? What she couldn't see was that every one of those successful people started exactly where she was starting. They all had their first day, their first mistake, their first small victory. The only difference was that they kept going despite the comparison trap. Here's a truth that will set you free. There will always be someone ahead of you, always. No matter how successful you become, no matter how much you achieve, there will always be someone who's further along the path. If you wait until you're the best before you start, you'll never start. But here's another truth. There will also always be someone behind you. Someone who would be inspired by your courage to begin. Someone who would benefit from your unique perspective and experience. Someone who needs exactly what you have to offer, even if it's not perfect yet. Your job isn't to be better than everyone else. Your job is to be better than you were yesterday. The only comparison that matters is the one between who you are today and who you were yesterday. When you find yourself falling into the comparison trap, remember this. Everyone you admire was once where you are now. They all started somewhere. They all had doubts. They all faced obstacles. The difference is that they focused on their own journey instead of everyone else's. Stop looking sideways at what others are doing and start looking forward at where you're going. Your path is unique, your timeline is different, and your definition of success doesn't have to match anyone else's. The energy you spend comparing yourself to others is energy stolen from building your own future. That energy could be used to take the next step, make the next connection, or create the next opportunity. Don't waste it on a game you can never win. Let me tell you about the most productive factory in the world. It operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It never has a shortage of raw materials, and its production capacity seems unlimited. This factory produces excuses, and every human being on Earth has one. Your excuse factory is incredibly sophisticated. It can take any situation and produce a perfectly reasonable explanation for why you can't move forward. Too young, too old, too late, too early, not enough money, not enough time, not enough experience, too much competition. The excuses flow like water. But here's what I've learned about excuses. They're not explanations, they're choices. Every excuse is a decision to stay where you are instead of moving toward where you want to be. I once met a man who wanted to start his own business, but had an excuse for every suggestion. He was too old to start over. He didn't have enough capital. The market was too crowded. His family wouldn't understand. The timing wasn't right. For every solution, he had 3 reasons why it wouldn't work. Meanwhile, his neighbor, a woman 10 years older with less money and more family responsibilities, started her own consulting firm and was thriving within 2 years. The difference wasn't their circumstances. The difference was their response to those circumstances. Successful people have the same challenges as unsuccessful people. They face the same obstacles, the same setbacks, the same limitations. The difference is that successful people treat obstacles as problems to be solved, while unsuccessful people treat them as excuses to quit. Here's a powerful exercise. For the next week, pay attention to every excuse you make. Write them down. You might be shocked by how many you produce without even realizing it. Small excuses, big excuses, reasonable excuses, ridiculous excuses, write them all down. Then, for each excuse, ask yourself this question: is this an explanation or a choice? Most of the time, you'll realize it's a choice. You're choosing to accept the limitation instead of finding a way around it. Now, I'm not saying that all obstacles are imaginary or that positive thinking alone will solve every problem. Some challenges are real and require real solutions, but most of the time, what we call obstacles are actually just inconveniences that we've decided are insurmountable. The successful person asks, how can I make this work despite the challenges? The unsuccessful person asks, why won't this work because of the challenges? Same challenges, different questions, completely different outcomes. Your excuse factory will never shut down completely. It's part of being human, but you can choose what to do with its products. You can either use them as reasons to quit or as problems to solve. You can either let them stop you or let them guide you toward creative solutions. Remember, every excuse is accurate, but not every excuse is useful. The question isn't whether your excuse is valid, the question is whether it's helping you or hurting you. My friends, we've talked about the many ways you might be sabotaging your own future. We've examined the silent saboteur, the comfort zone trap, the perfectionism prison, the comparison trap, and the excuse factory. These are the enemies within, the forces that keep you from becoming who you're meant to be. But now I want to share with you the most powerful weapon you have in fighting these enemies. It's not a complex strategy or a sophisticated technique. It's something so simple that most people overlook it completely. This weapon is the present moment, the power of now. You see, all of your self-sabotage happens in one of 2 places, the past or the future. You either dwell on past failures and use them as evidence that you can't succeed, or you worry about future problems and use them as excuses not to try. But life doesn't happen in the past or the future. Life happens now. Success happens now. Change happens now. Your future is created by what you do in this moment, not by what you did yesterday or what you might do tomorrow. Here's what I want you to understand. You don't have to fix your entire future today. You don't have to solve every problem or overcome every obstacle. You just have to take the next right step. You just have to do one thing right now that moves you closer to where you want to be. That one thing might be making a phone call you've been putting off. It might be signing up for a class, updating your resume, or having a difficult conversation. It might be as simple as writing down your goals or as bold as submitting your resignation. The size of the step doesn't matter. What matters is that you take it. Every moment you spend worrying about whether you're good enough, whether you're ready, whether you'll succeed, that's a moment stolen from actually becoming good enough, actually getting ready, actually creating success. The future isn't some distant destination that you'll reach someday. The future is being created right now, in this moment, by the choices you're making and the actions you're taking. Stop killing your future by waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, or the perfect feeling of readiness. Start saving your future by acting now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel more confident or have more money or know more people. Now your future self is counting on the decisions you make today. Your dreams are waiting for you to stop talking about them and start working toward them. Your potential is begging you to stop hiding it and start expressing it. The question isn't whether you're capable of creating an extraordinary future. You are. The question is whether you'll stop standing in your own way long enough to do it. My friends, you are more powerful than you know, more capable than you believe, and closer to success than you think. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is the decision to stop killing your future and start building it instead. That decision is yours, that power is yours, that future is yours. The only question is, what will you do with it? The time is now. Your future is waiting. Stop killing it and start creating it. Thank you for spending these 30 minutes with me today. If this message has resonated with you, I encourage you to take one action, just one, before this day is over. Your future self will thank you for it. Remember, you are the author of your own story. Make it a masterpiece.